Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this session. Hopefully, we'll have more people coming. We know that there's a few other activities that you got to choose from, but we're honored that you got to join us today. It says a lot about your investment in your future and education, which is a big part of what we're looking to talk about today. I am personally extremely happy to be in this session and introduce someone who I've known for quite some time, Dr. Dave Harrison. I met him back in Florida when he was uh, vice provost of regional campuses at UCF Continuing Education and also vice president at Seminole State Community College. He's got a tremendous career, and he's currently president of Ohio State Community College. So this is where he calls home with his wife and children, and has done phenomenal work in workforce development, connecting with the community and creating opportunities for all. And for those of you who have met me, you know that this is a big part of my career and big passion, advocating for access for all. And this also defines Dr. Harrison. So I'm not going to read his bio. You have it on your booklets. And I'm just so honored that he's taken time out of his busy schedule to be with all of you here today. So without further ado, Dave.
Thank you, Maria. Hi, everybody. It's really good to be with you today. In Columbus State, we start every gathering with gratitude, and I'm going to do that here. Start with Maria. I am here because she asked me to be here, but it's been a great learning experience for me to prepare for today, so I appreciate you all joining. I know there's a lot of competing interests, including puppies, and I know I can't compete against puppies, so I really appreciate the sacrifice you're making to be here with me this morning. But I really do want to thank Maria as a really great leader when we worked together now 13 years ago at the University of Central Florida, and it was a gift to hear from her and ask to participate here. I also want to thank you all, not just for being here, but really have personal gratitude for the parents that are involved and the caregivers that are involved. Maria and I were just talking a little bit, and as I said, preparing for today, I've gotten to learn a little bit about your journey and just really admire what you're doing and the way you're going about it. This gathering, I think, really captures the spirit of the collaboration that it takes to put people together to success. I come at this from the workforce standpoint. That's really my job as a community college president, is to help people get jobs and successful careers. So that's really going to be the context of my remarks today. I so really start with a position of optimism, optimistic guy. I don't get it right, but it is, I think, a spirit of hope that I think we have today. How do you ever? You from Columbus? Okay. Atlanta? Okay, just trying to find a touchstone here. So I would spend a lot of time on Columbus State, except for this family right here. We can talk after. But I appreciate you all being here today. I do want to give you just a little bit of context about where I'm coming from. We come at this scale. We're the third largest institution of higher ed in the state of Ohio, and that really does give us an opportunity to lean in to individual student needs and to develop really good relationships with employers. That's what we'll talk about. Student success is at the core of what we do at the state. We have take a data-driven approach, understanding where students are reach their goals. We have been closing gaps for different student groups, specific students have come taken the same ethos to students who come to us with different perspectives. accessibility team that focuses on students with varying disabilities meet their goals. We serve 2,000 students at services. See services that the is student advocacy and the ability to students the various systems which they've got, got to face. We try to be as little bureaucratic as possible but successful. So having someone who can really walk the student and their caregivers through a process that is really important. You can see some of the services provided. We talk a lot about data at the college, but I also want to we've got a handful of students for the AMC space was able to connect with one. Our Gabriel and his mother actually were here earlier this week. I think they're here now. Gabriel's not really. But I do want to tell Gabriel's story with his permission. But he Gabriel lacks muscle tone. Can't raise his arms on his own. He has joint issues, a very limited range of motion. Can't bear weight. Can't stand. Uses a power wheelchair all the time. He was homeschooled and started taking classes at Columbus State as a sophomore in high school through a program called College Credit Plus. All of his courses were online. He benefited greatly from our testing accommodations, extra exam time, those kinds of things. But as he said, the biggest benefit he got from disability services team is hugely grateful for his advocacy. The office and team members really understood his experience, helped him navigate the process, and helped him work with each faculty member, the interface. He would copy our office, any emails he would send to his professors, and that was helpful when he was expected to use Respondent Monitor for testing. He can't use a keyboard, he uses an iPad, and he uses those to navigate the iPad. So back understand that experience, something that the Disability Services Office supported. He will attend Ohio Wesleyan University this fall. For those of you who aren't from Central Ohio, Ohio Wesleyan is a very competitive private arts institution close by here, just north of here. Not sure about his career, but he's interested in community development economics, which he describes as finding ways to best up communities struggling with poverty. He was connected with that career field through his English composition professor. He really is making modifications to his work to accommodate his needs. So again, I talk about data a lot, but we're really trying to personalize it. It's not about numbers, it's about people, and reminding our folks that folks like me are really important. I'm going to transition now to what I talk a lot about with the future. Supply. Campus in 2018. Wrote this book. Anybody that touts community colleges is someone that I'm going to the points in Daryl's book are more important now, post-pandemic, than they were when he wrote them. And the disruption in the workplace is something that certainly employees, potential employees, are trying to respond to, but employers are as well. And while it can be nerve-wracking and really creates anxiety, I think it really does create a lot of opportunities, especially for folks who may not have had those kinds of opportunities. There are four broad areas that I'm going to spend a little bit of time on that I think are disruptors post-pandemic that as a workforce community we're trying to work through. I don't ever want to point to positive things that came out of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's not but there are current realities that in some ways we can use to our advantage. Starting with remote work. Again, I know you can't see this in detail, but you all do understand the impact that that's had. Even as companies have tried to get people back to the office, employees, in many cases, have resisted. So it's created a healthy dynamic, I think, in terms of creating a voice for employees, especially highly skilled employees. The opportunity to work remotely, at least part of the time, doesn't transcend every industry, but in key areas like information technology, financial services, business services, 50% or more jobs are available for at least part-time remote work. That's significant because that's where those areas are where a lot of the job is. So I really think these numbers are only going to progress. And I think that opens the door even more widely for people with different kinds of roles. Artificial intelligence is something, I'm not going to lie, it freaks me out a little bit. I don't quite know how to respond to it as a leader in higher ed. I should know, and I don't yet. So still trying to learn. I'm old enough to remember when the World Wide Web was a new thing 30 years ago, and we were skeptical of that. Is this really something that's going to help us? Can we really trust what we see on the World Wide Web? I guess we're still asking some of those questions now, right? I'm also definitely old enough to was in the middle of the Y2K conversion when some of this great world was going to end. That didn't happen. So I come into the AI space again optimistic. I am concerned from a workforce standpoint because I do know that a lot of jobs are going to be disrupted. Frankly, a lot of jobs are going to be eliminated, and many already have. And my worry is that those are entry-level jobs, the first job that many people have. All of our students in Columbus State, for the most part, work. Many of them work in those jobs that are at risk. So it's something we're really trying to pay attention to. But I think it will also open the door for new jobs for people with the right kinds of skills and the kinds of, it'll open more doors for flexibility that I think can fit well with youth. I want to talk a little bit about skills-based hiring because that's something that I've been advocating for a long time, even before there was a term for it. But we've got a lot of employers that really are rethinking the way they hire people. And they're doing it for a variety of reasons. In some cases, it's social responsibility. The requirement of a bachelor's degree for entry-level jobs is a structural impediment in so many ways. And it's not a requirement in a lot of cases, but it's something that's just been a legacy element in the hiring process for many companies. That's really starting to go away. In a lot of cases, it's because it's a competitive issue. In a lot of cases, it's been a big part of their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. It's structural inequity to require those kinds of credentials, especially when it's not directly job. We've got a lot of employers that are intentionally becoming more inclusive in the broadest sense. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But this idea of skills-based hiring is something that we're paying close attention to at the college. Not even relying on associate degree as an entry level or progressive credential. Really working with employers to help understand what those stackable credentials are, but not just give the student, they're all students to me, give the individual a job, but really put them on a position to advance their career. And we're seeing more and more of an integration between their educational experience and their career growth. And again, those come from deep partnerships with employers, but frankly, it's a big antidote to student debt as well, because we've got some real connections that create tuition reimbursement or tuition assistance opportunities through employers. We've got more and more students who are thriving in their careers. That's a whole difference. Employability skills, whether it's skills-based hiring. I just pulled this off of the internet. There are many more but what you can see is these are the kinds of skills that that you all are building every day. Think about the translatable, transferable skills that really it takes to succeed in the lives that you all are living. Those are the skills in many cases that that employers are looking for. What's not on here are things like grit and resilience and teamwork and listening skills. Again, those are elements that again I think are native to your experience that can definitely be translated to the workplace. Speaking with one of the physicians just before I came up here, she was talking about the fact that the children when they see spend most of their lives with adults and the ability to listen, learn, and observe. Those are great transferable skills in the workplace currently and in the future. So how we can continue that process. We'll talk a little bit about demographics because it matters. These are Ohio numbers, so since it only happens in Ohio, we spend a lot of time on it. But Ohio's like a lot of states population. Central Ohio gaining, but from Central Ohio, state of and you could find either on a map. This is key. And it's not just about Central Ohio. Other communities, what this means from an employer standpoint is it's simple. They've got jobs that they are trying to fill, and demographics don't support the companies have. So it gives an opportunity to think differently for companies to thrive. They have to think differently in regard to what their workforce in the future is going to be. All of that works to the advantage of this conversation. Here's a list of leading employers for individuals with disabilities. And as we talk about diversity, in so many cases, top thinking is around racial diversity, gender diversity in certain industries. But I think it really opens the door for differently able individuals in a way that may not have been there before. And we are in Central Ohio because we've got a number of companies that are really meeting. Accenture on this list because before I was in higher ed, I worked for Accenture with Accenture. They're to take a look at the websites of some of these companies because they're building for some opportunities that are authentic. This is the list, a very modest list of companies that we're working with in Central Ohio. Well, less a lot of things because we're creating with these employers what this process needs to look like. Instead of having every candidate fit into a predefined role, which in a lot of ways was the plan. Companies are now doing what we're trying to do is meeting people where they are and helping create a path that may be customized, eliminating barriers along the way to help them be successful. It's not happening across the board. Again, we wanted to, but there's real momentum in terms of authentic commitment to helping open doors in kinds of ways. And for me, I don't really care what the company's motivation is. I don't care if it's social responsibility. I don't care if it's just competition for talent. Because in both those cases, it's opening the door widely for students through a lot of different nationwide corporate headquarters here in Columbus that are an incredible leader in our community, certainly financially as an employer, but they set a great example. They are a great prototype as opportunities for students. We've got an example city schools graduates have tuition for a pathway to the state. Nationwide was the first employer to jump in to program opportunity for all of those students. So they've got 18 nationwide. They didn't have they've created that, and they've created a support system that has provided just job opportunities, study opportunities, laptops, and transportation subsidies, and those kinds of things. As an example, see that they've got specific focus in four areas as it relates to connecting with specific focus on those hearing impaired, those who have mobility challenges. And I want to share a quick video with a testimony that works at Nationwide through an organization called Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities. And I have to say this earlier because Columbus State partners with the state of Ohio through both, as does Nationwide. And in fact, the state budget was just approved, and the governor has put tuition assistance numbers to potentially use disabilities that accelerates that. Again, the student story, I want to close out the student story.
So about 10 years ago, I sustained an injury while I was a college athlete. I actually broke my lower back, and then I had an injury to my hips as well. It left me in chronic pain. It left me struggling with work and how to deal with chronic pain in day-to-day life. I was in a pretty bad spot mentally. A lot of the obstacles that I had to address was I had a lot of trouble sitting. There was a point where I really couldn't sit for 10 minutes, and that really affects you day to day. So I was working a customer service job that was physically demanding. It was at a coffee shop, and I was on my feet 8 hours a day, trying to get, some income. It really became so physically demanding. My coworkers, they had to bend over and pick stuff up for me because I couldn't bend. I was dealing with my chronic pain kind of on my own and work. I was in this weird transition. And a friend of mine ended up working at Opportunities with Ohioans with Disabilities, and she said, you should consider this. They helped me find what careers might work well for my injury and my chronic pain condition. And after looking at many options, I settled on insurance. Now there's stability in my life with Nationwide, being an employee. And I'm very proud to tell people that I am insurance service representative at Nationwide. There's a lot of untapped potential with people that do have disabilities. I'm telling you, a lot of people with disabilities really want to work because it makes you feel productive, you're contributing, you're working with others. It's been a long journey to get here. I want to say thank you to Nationwide from the bottom of my heart. I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I'm very happy to be here. And I do feel like I have a sense of purpose, and I love helping people, you know?
And how employers really stepping up in new kinds of ways. Uh, Again, I'm not objective, but I really do think a good job and a successful career does provide a sense of purpose, a sense of community, and a sense of opportunity. I think that door is open wider. So, thanks for your time today. I'd be happy to take any questions if anybody has.